know she loves you. A mama has to. She might not if she knew half the stuff that you
Tansei Bujuanin. My name is David McLeod of the National Indigenous Programming Advisory Committee. In early October, 6 artists took part in the 2024 OHSOTO'KINO Music Incubator, a special program designed to give artists career guidance and mentorship from Indigenous and non-Indigenous industry leaders. I had a chance to sit down and chat with the participants, and here's a bit of our conversation. This is Brettyn Rose at the National Music Center. Brettyn, welcome to the National Music Center. We're here for the OHSOTO'KINO Music Incubator, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Just want to start off by getting to know you a little bit. Where are you based out of, and your passion for music?
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me here. I'm very excited and honored to be here. I'm a country artist based here in Calgary. I'm from Okotoks, which is just a few minutes south of Calgary. So really fortunate that I could spend my week here and still be in my home city. So that's really cool. And yeah, I'm really honored and excited to be here.
Well, to be in the country genre and be in Alberta is a good place to be. It
really is. Yeah, I always joke that we're kind of like the Nashville or like the Austin, Texas of Canada for country music. And I feel very fortunate that we have such a strong, not only country music scene, but just art scene here in general, not just for musicians, but for art. We have the National Music Center here. So I'm definitely fortunate that I get to live in this city, and it works out well for me in my genre.
You've released, about 7 singles so far?
Yeah, about 7.
And people are paying attention to your lyrics because they're heartfelt and they're genuine. What can you tell us about your songwriting?
Yeah, I started songwriting when I was probably 13. I think it kind of just became a natural progression for me in my musical journey. I studied classical music all growing up, and I did show choir and stuff like that. And then when I started songwriting, I'm a very what you see is what you get person. So I think it naturally just came out that my lyrics were very authentic to who I was and how I felt and my personal experiences in my life. And I feel like that's something I now want to carry forward in my songwriting always, is just have that real life piece of me in my songs, or it's like my art, right? So that's a little piece of me in every song for sure.
Well, and the singles you release have done really well, particularly through a lot of streaming services. People are picking up on your music. What can you share about that?
Yeah, it's really cool. As you know, it's very tough to get noticed and get your songs out there. But I feel like I grow each time I do a single release, or I learn something new about the industry, or learn something new about how release strategies or just little tips and tricks I can do. So I really try to just focus on, as long as my music is growing, if I get a couple more streams than a last song did, or maybe get on a different playlist, or just something new each time that I'm growing, I think that's what I kind of aim for with each of my releases.
So when you look at your career so far, and you've accomplished a lot for a young artist, why do you think that's happening? I mean, because you've been, you've also been awarded for your music. You've gone to award shows. You've been nominated. Why do you think that's happening already?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I'm not sure I have that answer, but maybe it ties into, like you said, just my heartfelt lyrics. I really am just who I am. And I really just try to put that into my music. And I'm doing it because I love music. That's really the only reason. And anything that follows after that, like accolades and things like that, is to me just the cherry on top. And it's really nice. And I'm very honored to be recognized in those ways. But I just do music because I love to do it. So maybe that's what shines through and can connect with other people.
And when you say, talk about yourself and your music and why you write music, part of that is your identity as well. I mean, as an Indigenous person, could you share a little bit about that connection you have with your Métis background?
Yeah. So I am a citizen of the Métis Nation of Alberta. From my heritage comes from my father's side of my family, and they're originally from Manitoba. And that's actually something I'm still, to be very honest about, still discovering. I don't really know much about my heritage. I wasn't brought up in the culture or anything like that. It wasn't something discussed in my family. So I've kind of just started to go on this journey now as a young adult to kind of discover that myself and learn more about it. And I'm so proud that it's a part of my identity, but I need to learn more about it, and so I can then integrate it into my music more, because that's what I really am proud to be that, and I want to share that more.
You're here, as we mentioned, the OHSOTO'KINO incubator. You're connecting with other Indigenous artists.
Mm-hmm.
What is there anything you could share about that right now?
Yeah, it's amazing to be a part of this program and connecting. Like I said, I'm trying to learn more about the Indigenous music industry and the culture and just everything. So connecting with other artists my own age or at similar stages to me in my career, and just hearing their experiences and about their heritage and their histories and how they identify and connect to their culture has been really, really inspiring to me, and really just nice to make those connections and find those similarities between me and these other artists. It's been like so special to me.
Nice. Could you share with us some maybe an experience that Sean liked, that you are going on the right path, you're on the right direction, maybe with one of your songs or one of your live shows where you're like, okay, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. What would one of those moments be?
Yeah, I think one of those moments is when I share songs, like in songwriters rounds. I recently did that with a song that was extremely personal to me and so literal to my real life. I didn't think anyone would relate to it or anything. And then I had people come up to me after and tell me that they did. And I feel like that is the most validation that I get as an artist, is when people can relate to my music or find shared experiences or emotions and connections. That to me is all I really want to do with music, especially as a songwriter. So to me, that's a sign that I am going on the right path, and I should continue to share my experiences, even if they're so personal to me, that it's just what I'm meant to do.
You've gained some attention from the media as well, like CBC, CTV, asking you about your music, and what are some of the messages that you want to get out there? Yeah,
I think just kind of like what I've said, being yourself. That's all I ever try to be, or I try to honor. And it's hard sometimes in the industry when you're being maybe pulled in different directions or told this is what's trending at the time. And also just being kind. I'm a big believer in just being kind to everybody, and everybody deserves kindness and love, and just being yourself, because everyone is unique and special in their own way, which I know sounds cliche, but I'm such a firm believer in. So I think just letting people know that you can chase your dreams, you can do whatever you set your mind to, because I'm a big believer in that too. If I set my mind to something, I'm going to achieve it.
Well, we hear this word quite often too, authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
People are looking for authenticity, or they see through something that isn't authentic really quick nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with your music, that's where it's coming from. When you write your lyrics, what's your process? How do you go about that?
Yeah, it kind of changes each time, but I've kind of, as I've been growing, I'm learning that I'm a big melody person. I always melodies come to me first, but also a general feeling, whether that's like love or heartbreak. Sometimes I'm very a mood songwriter. If I've had a bad day, I will probably more likely write a sad song or something like that. But also, again, about personal experiences. That's kind of my main draw of inspiration when I write songs. If something's happened to me, good or bad, I tend to, that's how I just deal with it, is I write. So, yeah.
And how does that feel to send your story, release those stories out to the public?
It's really scary. It's really scary. There's a piece of me in every song I put out, or some truth to it to me, and that may be different, and it also changes as I grow. As you know, songs can sometimes take a long time to come out, so then they change to me personally, or songs that I put out when I was a teenager mean something different to me than they did when I was that age. But I think that's also the beauty in it too, is that it kind of grows with you. But yeah, so I think just putting a little bit of myself in every song.
You've received some accolades as a young artist. Could you share a little bit about those experiences?
Yeah, it's a huge honor to be recognized for my music, and there's so much talent in the province and in the country and just in general. And I was nominated for Horizon Female Artist of the Year this year at the Country Music Alberta Awards, and that was my first time being nominated in that category, and I was so honored because a lot of them are my friends, and just women I respect and admire for what they're doing in the industry. And so just to have my name alongside them, I think I'm just so honored for that.
And you've played some like major country festivals like Country Thunder and some other ones. Can you share a bit about that?
Yeah. Last year I was fortunate to play the Country 105 stage at Country Thunder here, which was so cool because that's like our big country festival we get here every year. And as just a country music fan, I just thought that was like the coolest thing ever. I was like, this is so cool. That was definitely a bucket list moment for me. And then I also a few years ago got to host the youth stage at Big Valley Jamboree. So that was really cool to kind of see the next generation of talent coming up, and they were like so good. So it was really cool to share the stage with them and kind of help give them a spotlight. And festivals are so much fun. Like people in the summer, I love going to them myself. So to be able to be up on the stage is always a highlight and really special to me.
When did you realize that, you had this passion, you gravitated, to country music?
Yeah, that actually happened later in life for me. Like I said, I was always around music, but my mom and my family growing up did not listen to country music. It was a lot of like 80s and rock, and my mom loves 80s music. So I made the discovery of country music on my own and love grew over a really long time for me, and I just was discovering it. And then I kind of, just dove into that world. And I think what finally drew me to realize that was what I loved is the storytelling in country music. Because as I started writing songs, it kind of was just developing into, I really like telling stories. And like I said, with putting my own experiences in my songs, that just kind of naturally came that they were storytelling songs. And so I think country is just it's a perfect genre for that.
Nice. And learning to deliver those songs, is there anything you could share about, you can think about country music, but then putting your thoughts into that basket and forming them around the sounds and the music what's that been like?
Yeah, that's been really cool. I feel like I've been on a big discovery lately of the sound I want to be as an artist and diving more into a country sound. Some new music I have coming up is going to have more of a country sound, and I'm really excited about that because, again, storytelling is at its core of country music, in my opinion, and that's what I feel like my songs are at the core. So it's really cool to then add all those cool traditional country sounds like pedal steel and fiddle. Like I love all of those. So to add it now to my own songs has been a really cool journey, and I'm really excited to share new stuff that has more of that sound in it.
Awesome. And, we're here at the OHSOTO'KINO incubator. Are there certain areas that you want to focus on after, hearing a lot of speakers this week? So is there certain areas you go, okay, I got to work on ABC? What would that be?
Yeah, the sessions have been so amazing this week. I have notes and notes I wrote down while all the mentors were speaking. And I think a lot on the business side. I've been really enjoying learning that side. Because I did all the kind of artist stuff first, like songwriting since I was young. But now that I'm getting older and learning all the business side, getting new business cards or making sure your website is up to date and doing all of those. I also love organizing. I have a very organizational brain. So now I'm making myself a little to-do list of I can do A, B, and C, those types of things when I get home. And really, I'm so excited to implement what I've learned here at the program into my own career now.
Awesome. Is there a pathway that you're hoping to work towards the next 5 years? What are you hoping for?
Yeah, with my career, I would love to just be able to support myself off of music. I feel like music is just so at my core and what I was meant to do. It sounds so weird, but I feel like it just is who I am and what I was meant to do, and I really don't have any other choice. There's nothing else I want to do. So to be, I just hope to continue to grow down my path in the next 5 years, see where it takes me. I don't know where it'll take me, but I'm feeling really open-minded now, especially after this program, to just see what might come about in my career. I'm really open to anything, but I know it'll always be music.
Well, you've achieved a lot, with the awards, with playing larger shows, and also streaming. Sirius XM is open up the doors for some of your music as well.
Yeah.
And what's that experience like? Have you had a chance to hear your song on the radio?
I have.
What's that been like?
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. And I've even had like people send me a picture when they've heard my song on the radio and they're just like driving in their car. I've been just like driving in my car on the way to somewhere and like my song comes on the radio, and that is so wild to me. It's so strange.
Do you sing along with yourself?
I do, yeah. I do. I mean, I'm proud of my music, so I'm gonna enjoy it when it comes on. Yeah, for sure.
That would be so bizarre, hearing your own song with you singing along with your own song.
It's really bizarre. It's super bizarre, but I also really I think it's so cool. It never ever gets old.
I get the feeling you have so much energy and excitement in your career. What's at the core of that? Where does that come from?
The excitement?
Yeah, just because it's like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. And I think it just comes from my passion. Like, I'm so, like I said, so passionate about music, and I feel it in my bones that it's what I'm meant to do in this life. And there's literally nothing else I would rather do. And so I think that's where it comes from. It's just, no matter what, I want to make it work and make a career out of it, no matter how that looks like. I just know my life is always going to be surrounded by music. And so I think it's what my passion for it, that is what keeps me going. It makes me excited to work on my career and see how far I can get and do this and that, so I can progress and reach more people and get on even like bigger stages and stuff like that, because I love performing. And yeah, so I think it's just that passion that keeps me going.
And the music itself, like the sounds, how did you learn about like the chords and everything else, like to put songs, the writing the music? Yeah,
that I started learning guitar when I was 13, and I played piano first. Piano was my first instrument, but I didn't really start songwriting till I learned the guitar. And actually, Mariah Stokes, another Alberta artist here in Calgary, she actually taught me guitar. She was my first guitar teacher, and she taught me a lot about songwriting and kind of structuring things, and then how to like perform original songs and stuff like that. And then I think it was a lot of just trial and error and just getting out and performing. I went to a lot of like youth jams here on the Music Mile, at the Blues Cannon in Inglewood, and played with other kids my own age, and really just got tried to get the experience. And just played, and then I still love to play. I just love playing, so I think that was a big help with that.
A lot of artists talk about the support systems, because it's like you do a lot on your own, but there are people around. You mentioned one already, your guitar teacher, and how about other people in your life who have been supporting you? Who have they been?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate to have a very strong and supportive support system. My family has been a huge one. My mom helped me a lot when I was growing up, driving me to gigs before I could drive, or vocal lessons or piano lessons or whatever. And then she also helped me a lot with just like the business side too. She was into photography and artwork too, so she like shot a lot of my very first single arts, and we kind of just did a lot of stuff DIY together and kind of just figured it out. And my family and my grandparents and my siblings have all been so supportive. They come to shows, and my family really instilled in me and my siblings to chase our dreams and do whatever we want, whatever we set our mind to, we can do. And my grandparents were like that growing up. They built everything that they have, and so I feel like I really instilled a strong like work ethic into my siblings and I, that whatever you want, you can just go out and get it. So that's what I'm trying to do.
And overall, what like in terms of that being on stage, what's that like for you when because there is being in the studio, mm-hmm. there is writing those songs, and then ultimately you're on stage performing, and what is there a highlight for you so far with your performances?
Yeah, I think performing is one of my favorite parts of being an artist. I love being on stage, which is kind of weird because I feel like I'm kind of an introverted person otherwise, but I feel like I feel like really at home and comfortable on stage. And yeah, I've been fortunate to play some really cool shows like Country Thunder and stuff like that. And it's one of my favorite things to see people like singing along to the words of a song, like even if it's a cover song or hopefully one day one of my own songs. But just seeing how happy live music makes people is one of my favorite things, and making that connection with an audience through performing is one of my favorite feelings. Like I can never get enough of performing. I love it.
It feels like there's nothing stopping you.
I really don't want there to be, because like I said, I want this so bad, and I just want to do music. That's all I ever want to do. So I'm going to try not to let anything stop me.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, Brettyn, and we appreciate you taking time to talk with us, and we wish you well in your future, of course. And you've got a future. So thanks for sharing.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for talking to me today.
You know she loves you. A mama has to. She might not if she knew.